I couldn't deal with it at all. I said things like, if you want to starve yourself, starve yourself. I just thought it was a fad, a stupid lifestyle thing, a teenager being crass. I never for a moment thought it was a mental illness. So journalist and news presenter Mark Austin explained his reaction to his daughter Maddie's descent into anorexia nervosa, a condition that nearly killed her. It was one of several moments of brutal honesty in last night's Wasting Away the Truth About Anorexia Channel 4, in which the Austin family used their story as the basis for a program that sought to dispel the misapprehensions under which Mark had labored, and to argue for better NHS treatment for sufferers of the disease. And what a disease, what suffering. Maddie, a keen runner specializing in the 800 meters, fell victim to it under the pressure of trialing for county and national races and applying for university. It all got too much. I suppose I didn't have another way of showing that I wasn't okay. She was diagnosed in December 2012, by which time she had become very withdrawn and was having horrible thoughts. I genuinely felt my family and friends would be better off without me. I was, says her mother Catherine, an air doctor helpless in the face of a non-physical illness, just losing her. Maddie and Mark travel to Nottingham to meet Rachel, whose daughter Naomi, not her real name, has been hospitalized 5 times since she was diagnosed 2 years ago. She is currently in a private facility paid for by the NHS in Edinburgh. Rachel makes the 600-mile round trip to see her as often as she can, and cries all the way to the airport on the way home. One time, I willed the taxi to crash. But I've got to pull myself together because I've got 2 other daughters. Naomi can be in a hospital or under outpatient care near her home, as she and her family long for her to be, and which would surely aid her recovery, because there simply aren't the facilities there. Because there isn't the money. Maybe because there isn't enough money for anything. Maybe because Mark's old belief that starving yourself is an affectation that shouldn't be indulged runs deep among those who allocate beds and funding for these things. Maybe because anorexia is a primarily privileged, primarily female thing. Whatever the reason or reasons, it ended in tragedy for the Stafford family. They moved from Leicester to Norfolk with their anorexic daughter Lydia and discovered there was nothing like the support she had been getting back home. After the overstretched mental health crisis team spoke to her on the phone instead of making their scheduled visit, Lydia killed herself. 4 years on, her grieving mother is now anorexic herself. Enter the lesser-spotted Secretary of State for Health Jeremy Hunt. Why is treatment such a lottery? Asks Mark. Where is the revolution in treatment for under-18s, that 3 years ago the government promised a £150 million injection of cash would produce, and is he aware that according to research by eating disorder charity Beat, 70% of the commissioning groups that have control of this non-ring-fence sum are spending some or all of it on other things, including, in at least one case, an IT system? Hunt blinked and swallowed increasingly dryly. His eyes darted about, seeking an exit that didn't materialize. It was never a promise they could fix things overnight, apparently. They wanted to be able to make the promise to do better. Gasp. Croak. In the meantime, our young people turn the misery in on themselves and, with nothing else to eat, choke on it. Everything about the pacemakers, BBC Two, the music, the slow-motion footage, the schmaltzy tone of the filmmaker's voice as she narrated events or interviewed her subjects, suggested we were supposed to find this story of nonagenarian runners unbearably moving and uplifting in equal parts. Perhaps because of this, or perhaps because I found the main subject, 97-year-old sprinter Charles Eugster, nowhere near as charming as Stella Hennessy seemed to, I did not. Rather than drilling down into the runner's motivations, the film seemed too content to treat them like a version of Dr. Johnson's Dog, simply pointing a camera at ancient frames coming down the track and marveling not that it was done well but done at all. It may be true, but it doesn't make for a riveting hour. Jog on.